Ambitious women are not bad at love. We're just so used to controlling everything in our lives that we use that same energy into our relationship, and control and masculine energy just does not work in relationships. So instead of being fully seen, we try to explain, we over explain, we direct, we get into these energies of just managing the relationship instead of being present in the relationship. And by the end of this episode, you'll understand why staying in your masculine energy depletes the relationship, makes you feel exhausted, makes you feel never seen, never truly present, and how shifting into a strong but soft energy changes everything. Hello, my beautiful muses, and welcome to this week's episode. Obviously, this is a different setup. I had a very emotional morning, and I actually had to practice a lot of the things that I'm going to talk about in this episode early in the morning. It's like 8 o'clock right now. I did not feel like putting on a full face of makeup, getting dressed, going to my office studio, podcast studio, and I said, what better way to talk about intimacy, vulnerability, being soft but yet strong than in my own bedroom, in my bathroom? And so here I am. So let's start off with the main core problem that I've seen within myself in my past relationships. I've been married before. I was married for 6 years, together for 7. And this is my second marriage where I have consciously done things differently. I was also in a relationship between my divorce and this marriage. And so I've had to really practice and hone in on a lot of these skills I'm going to talk about on here, because I realized for a long time that I was so protected. I was so shielded. I knew how to communicate my feelings, but not in a nice way or a soft way that felt good. I would always just say it when I had too much, when I had taken too much, when resentment had built up, and I just wanted to yell and scream at the top of my lungs, like, look at me, see me, you're not paying attention to me. And that just repelled the other person, and I never felt safe or stable or grounded when I mentioned any of my emotions or my feelings, because it came from a place of, I'm exhausted, I need to manage this, and I have really high expectations at this point. And love and vulnerability doesn't grow in expectations and control and wanting to feel safe. And so I want to talk a lot in this episode about masculine and feminine energies, and how as ambitious women, we stay in our masculine energy a lot during the day, and it works and it's needed because we have to think logically. We are planners. Everything is interconnected for us as women, right? Everything that happened like a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, yesterday, the day before, in the future, it's all like one big spider web for us. And so everything is interconnected and everything just feels intense sometimes. And so I want to share the story about what happened this morning and why I had to practice a lot about what I'm going to go into. But I want to share this first because I want us to just really resonate with the idea that we have emotions. As women, we're going to feel an array of emotions any given time, depending on what time of the month, depending on what time of the day, depending on how our stress levels are. And so last night I slept terrible. I woke up late at 1. I stopped drinking. All of my goals to not drink all of January. It's January 16th. And I figured my sleep would just get really consistently good at some point. I'm about 4 days before my menstrual cycle. So I know that I'm a little more sensitive. I know I'm a little more on edge. And in the past, I hated this part of my menstrual cycle because I feel everything so much more intensely. And I felt alone with these emotions because I was almost pushing against them. I didn't love it. So I was pushing against myself. And instead of just allowing myself to feel, I would push against it. And let alone was I able to even voice what I needed to my partner at the time or to my husband at the time. There was this block for me. And so I woke up and I'm exhausted. I'm like so tired. I'm frustrated because I haven't slept. I woke up like around 1 and I just tossed and turned the rest of the night. And like I said, I'm about to get my menstrual cycle, so I'm edgier. And I was just journaling first thing in the morning. And I just started like bawling, crying. And TJ comes up and he's like, hey, how'd you sleep? And he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, no. Normally, in the past, I would have said, hey, yeah, I'm fine. Like, I would have just kept it in because I'm like, this is so silly, right? Like, a past version of me would have judged the fact that I'm, like, crying about not sleeping. Like, what a baby. Like, what's wrong with me, right? But now I have a lot more compassion and sensitivity and grace towards myself. And so I said, yeah, I'm just feeling frustrated. And I said it just like that. Not like, oh, yeah, I'm just feeling frustrated. I was just like, I'm feeling frustrated because I'm able to just feel my emotion and see it for what it is. And I'm like, I'm sensitive towards myself. And so the voice and the tone that I'm even expressing, that he could tell that there's some sensitivity. And so he's sensitive. And so what he does with his body language is that he comes and sits on the bed. And he's like, what's going on? And I'm like, I just didn't sleep good. He gives me a hug. He's like, I'm sorry, babe. That's not fun. Like, he just showed me empathy, grace, and love. And it's all I needed, right? And he went and finished off the morning with Avery. We have Avery this week, my stepdaughter. And I just sat there and I was still super emotional. And then he left and he was running out the door. He's always like manic when we have Avery because, like, kids and mornings and routines and all that. It's just a lot. And I try to help when I can, but I've made that a big boundary of mine to just like be in my own energy in the morning, and I help a little bit, but I do not partake in the chaos. That's all him. The chaos is him. And he was running out the door and he's like, babe, I love you. See you for lunch because we have a lunch date today. I'll see you for lunch. And then I got sensitive again because I'm like, he didn't come give me a kiss goodbye. I'm like so sensitive right now and he didn't give me a kiss goodbye. And so I'll tell you later what I did to kind of calm myself down because it's one of the tools. But I felt in my body like, oh my gosh, he doesn't care about me because he left without saying goodbye, which isn't the truth, but it's an emotion and it's valid. And so a lot of what we're going to talk here is about the feminine masculine energy and logic, what's true, and the feeling and the emotions, and being able to hold both. Because here's the thing, as ambitious women, as women that get things done, I don't think we necessarily have the problem of I don't know how to communicate. I think we communicate pretty well because we get a lot of things done. We just don't do it from a place of I trust that I am going to be seen. I trust that even if I'm not seen, I will be okay. Or I get to just say this because I deserve to be heard. We kind of say things from a place of, I'm saying this and I need you to change something. I'm saying this and I need to control the outcome. I'm saying this and I need you to make a change right now. And I need to just feel safe right now. And that's just not how love works. That's not how love works between two people. And I think that's the biggest struggle that ambitious women, because we can manage so much and do so much for ourselves and provide for ourselves and do all these things. That's the biggest issue we have with men, especially in dating or being in a relationship for a long time. I'm in the process of continuously learning different tools and different skills, but I'm going to share a lot of the things that I've learned so far, and I hope that this is helpful for you. And I've learned a lot throughout the years, and so I want to just talk about control first because I am somebody that had a lot of instability growing up. There was a lot of like unknowns for me in my relationship with my mom. I grew up with a single mom and then my stepdad came in my life, but that was kind of in and out. It wasn't very consistent. And so I had a lot of instability. And so I realized that in my relationships, especially being an ambitious person, I needed outcomes. I had expectations. I needed to control things. And so I need to control even how the conversation goes, what the result is, how he manages the conversation. If he says something I don't like, I want to control that. I want to change it. I want to fix it. I want to guide him into saying things better. I wanted to control everything. And in the past with partners, I've also wanted to control how they managed their life, how they did things, because I felt like my way's better. I'm obviously superior. And so I need you to just change yourself so that I could feel good and I could feel accomplished, which in reality, it's not the truth. It wasn't the truth. It's not the truth. But controlling things gave me a false sense of safety. And so if you catch yourself always wanting to control things, how conversations go, what he does with his mother, with his ex, with the baby mama, if you feel like you're in this control sense, ask yourself, where is this coming from? And how can I guide myself back to safety? Because that controlling is masculine energy, right? Because masculine energy is problem solving, decision making, logistics, logical. Like it's not emotions, it's not presence, it's not faith, it's not trust, it's not releasing, it's not letting go. It's the opposite, right? It's always doing. And real masculine men get really turned off by this part of us as women. And it works, again, in business and it works in almost everything else that we do, but it does not work in relationships. And the hardest part is to release that control to your partner because you're like, but what if he can't hold it? What if he can't handle it? What if he doesn't change? And we go down the rabbit hole of the whole future with this man. And if these things don't change, how will I feel safe in this relationship? But I'm here to tell you that the only way for you to feel safe in this relationship or in any relationship is for you to feel safe within yourself first. We try to control things as managers in a relationship, but our true role in our relationships is to be the emotional leader. And I know that sounds like a lot because you're like, I have to lead something else in my life. Sorry, if you hear some noise, it's because my cat's in the room and she's just running around like a psychopath. We are the emotional leaders and we have to lead with our feminine energy. And we're going to start tapping into that a little bit more. Doesn't mean that some masculine energy doesn't come into it, because when men need to be checked, when men need to be put back in their place, there is some firmness and needs to come through with that. But for the most part, emotional leaders in the relationship, us women, we lead with our emotions. We lead with a softness. We lead with presence. And when you think of the word soft, for a long time, I was like, I'm not going to be soft. Like, that's not powerful, but it is. The person that speaks the less the person that listens more, the person that is so grounded in who they are and gets to say something in a soft way is the powerful person in the world. It's not the person that's like barking and yelling the most that gets the attention and is actually heard. It's the person that's grounded in who they are that actually is seen and is actually heard. And so when you think of the word soft, I want you to think of I get to be soft because I get to nurture myself and feel soft. Like I get to be soft. I get to be hard and logical and masculine in my work, but in my relationship, I get to be soft. And he will meet my expectations, he will meet my needs some of the time. And the times that he doesn't, even the times that he does, I still got me. And that is power, right? When we're able to be in that softness and that power at the same time is that yin and yang. And that's what I really want us to hone in on, because that's the one skill that we haven't been taught as women in relationships, that being soft is not being weak. Being soft is a superpower. And so when you think of a leader, right, think of any bosses you've had, think of women like in your life that have been bosses or in any way superior to you in like the work environment, career environment. When they don't embody what they preach, when they just tell you what to do and you're like, well, you don't even do it, or you don't do it well, or you're not even leading the team right, you're like expecting all these things, but you're not doing it. That is not a leader, right? We're like, no, you're just bossing us around, you're managing, you're not being a leader. A leader embodies what they want the people behind her to do. And I also want you to sit down and think, anytime that you're in a bad mood, that you're grumpy, that you're frustrated, that you let yourself get to that point of like exhaustion because you're not speaking up your needs, you're trying to control so much. When you get frustrated, angry, and you just shut down, or there's like this energy of like rage in you, how do the people around you, how does your partner feel, your kids, if you have kids, how is the energy in the house afterwards? Everyone's just tiptoeing around you. This is how you know that you're the emotional leader, because you have the power to affect the whole household with just your energy. You don't even have to say anything. You could just be like quiet and just frustrated, and your energy alone, everyone's just bracing for what's next because your energy is so powerful. Your emotions are powerful. You as a woman, you're powerful. And we don't have to get to that point of resentment, anger, frustration in order to feel like, okay, now they're hearing me, now they're seeing me, now they're listening to me. It's actually in the opposite, that you actually feel seen without having to go to that space. Because when you go to that space, that exhaustion, you've already made up stories in your head that they don't care, that they take you for granted, that you're so frustrated, you're so angry. You've already made up all these stories that are probably not true, and you're feeling the worst. You're not feeling seen, you're not feeling loved, you're not feeling validated. And so I want you to fully be able to trust whoever you're with and your partner. And I do want to have a caveat here and say one thing before I keep going, because I have been in toxic relationships with men that have not been able to fully meet me, but I've been toxic as well. And so I want us to see this as no man or woman is bad or good. We all have traumas and triggers and crap, and we have ways of protecting ourselves and shielding ourselves. And so when I talk about men in this episode, I want you to think about the man that is loving and caring and wants a relationship with you, not the one that's like ghosting you and not available emotionally and is not worried about you and doesn't care about you. This is the man that's trying, that's probably not going to do it perfectly, but he's trying. He wants to be better. He wants to do better. And you get to train him. And I don't mean that like as in a demeaning way. Like TJ talks about it all the time. Like, I'm your student. I'm a student of you. Like, I'm learning you. A man that's fully committed and fully loves you, he's always going to want to learn. But is he going to want to learn in a class environment where you're like smacking him with a ruler and being like, not good enough. You're not good enough. Control. Do it like this. Have I not told you not to do that before? Be quiet. Do this better. No. Wants to be loved, or is not going to be excited to go be a student in a classroom like that, right? And so when I say train the person you're with, you get to train them by knowing yourself the best. The only person that knows you is you. The only person that knows how to love you is you. The amount of love, grace, groundness that you have to have for yourself in a relationship is exponential, and it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop when you're in a relationship. You don't get to just give him the baton and say, okay, now you take care of my needs. I'm tired. You know, I've just loved myself for far too long, and I've been so independent that I just need you to do it all for me. I don't subscribe myself to the idea that I see online of like, a good man will just be everything for you and will, like, yes, but also, and more importantly, are you doing that for yourself? This is a continuous thing, because I'll tell you what happens if you don't. You lose yourself in the relationship. You start to lose like your whole identity. This is when women have the glow up after a breakup or a divorce. It's because you've completely given away your power to this person that is just a human, and he's probably not going to be able to hold it just the way that you would like or how you would want to be held. And so it is your responsibility as the emotional leader to always hold yourself. And the days that you can't, you can voice it, but you still don't give him the power to be like, here, I need you to just fix me. I need you to handle all my emotions. I need you to do the things that I'm not willing to do for myself. And so to go back to this morning, so TJ leaves, right? TJ leaves. I'm like, he doesn't love me. Like in my mind, I'm like, just didn't even give me a kiss. Like I wasn't even worth coming up 5 steps. You know? And then I sat down with myself and I'm like, okay, I always ask myself this, and I want you to ask yourself this if there's things going on in your relationship or when you feel triggered or when you feel emotions coming up. I take a deep breath and I touch my chest because that is a good way for us women to just really tune into ourselves. Like our emotions, our heart, I hold my chest. Sometimes I hold my belly too, but mostly my chest, and I lay on the floor. So somatically, that just helps your nervous system feel safe because there's something holding you from underneath. And so I'm like, okay, let me breathe. Is this true? Like, is this actually true? Does he not love me? Let me go through what happened this morning. He gave me a kiss. He was empathetic. He said, I'm sorry, babe. He said, I can't wait for a date later. We have a lunch date. So he was like trying to pep me up, making sure that I felt like good. Before he left, while he was screaming up the stairs, I'm leaving. He's like, can't wait to see you later. I'll text you about lunch. So he's obviously in tune with me. He wants me to feel good. So it's not that he doesn't love me. Okay, so that's just an emotion. That's not logically true. Okay, he does care about me. But I feel sad. Can I feel sad and know that he didn't mean to make me sad, that I could just feel these two things together at the same time? And so I took deep breaths and I allowed myself to just feel sad. And I told myself, I am safe. I am safe in this relationship. I am safe in my body. I am safe holding both of these emotions and dualities together and knowing that neither of them are true. I could be sad and feel like he doesn't love me, and it's not true. And I know that he loves me and that he maybe didn't mean to hurt me, and I know that I can hold the duality of he loves me and he didn't mean to hurt me, and I'm sad and that hurt. I can hold the duality of those two things together. And that helps me just get grounded and back into my body. And here's where I decide, do I bring this up? Is this worth bringing up in the relationship? Because if you bring up to the man that loves you, the man that's willing to do anything for you, the man that's like, I'm a student of you, babe. I want to be the best man for you. These are things that TJ has told me. Like, I love you. I want to be everything for you. Like, what do you need? So if I bring up every emotion I have, especially around my period or before my period, to this man that wants to be it all for me, he's going to feel overwhelmed. And he's going to feel like I just can't do anything right. And so where I have my discernment and I bring in my intuition of like, do I bring this up or I don't? Is if it lingers. So for a lot of us women, a lot of things linger and they build up. And so if right now, let's say I still didn't feel good, I go to lunch and it's still like, I feel like withdrawn and I feel like I want to be not so close to him and I feel like I'm just annoyed, I will probably bring it up, but I will wait for the most part. Don't always do this perfectly, but I will, for the most part, wait until my emotions have tempered down. So now where I'm in the heightened emotion, because I'm not going to say things good. I'm going to say things from a place of pain. I'm going to say things from what the story that I've made up in my head is, that he doesn't love me, he doesn't care about me, which is not true. And so he's going to feel attacked. I wait until my emotions have settled and I can see the logic and the emotion, and I try to just bring it up to him. And what I've learned with TJ, at least because he's a man and he's logical and he's always going and doing and whatever, is that I usually want to bring him a solution to whether I want more time, reassurance, just to be heard, whatever it is that I need, whatever my end result is that I want, which you only get that clarity from really sitting with it and knowing if it's even worth bringing up. Is it still bothering me? Like this, I probably won't bring up, or if I do, I'll be like, hey, I actually made an episode on this because I felt like you just left and you didn't care about me. And like, I've talked about things like that too. But for the most part, I go through that. And if I'm able to just settle myself, I bring it up and I just give him what I need. I'm like, hey, I feel this and I need to feel reassured right now. That's soft, powerful, and feminine and masculine. That's the duality of both. And I'm going to tell you how I break these up and why this uses both masculine and feminine energy. The masculine is a logic. Even though you're emotional and your prefrontal cortex, when emotions are high, kind of goes offline, you're able to soothe yourself and calm yourself down, which is the feminine. You're able to love yourself and back into safety and calmness. That's the feminine. And then with your logic, you're like, is this true? No, it's not true. Okay. But I still have the emotions and my feminine energy. And then with him, you're bringing up, hey, these are my emotions and I need this. The masculine is you're telling him what you need, but you're also doing it in a feminine way. And here's where the magic really lies. You have to do it without any expectations. Whatever it is that you want from him, you have to learn how to give to yourself too before you even have that conversation with him. If it is that you need more of his time, reassurance, love, attention, there has to be something in your day that day that you have given to yourself in that way. Because again, emotionally and energetically, we are the leaders. So they will match what we feel and how we do it. And these are intangible things. This is the hard part for us ambitious women, because we're like, well, no, I need him to like fix it now. I need to tell him what I need. I'll try to do it softly. And then I need him to make the change. But it's in the energetic levels that these changes are actually made. It's not in the 3D world even. And here's a perfect example. I sat down, did my whole routine, calmed myself back to the point where I was like, I went from distraught crying to I'm gonna go film this episode on my bed. Like I went from there to here. And in between that, as I'm in my little lymphatic drainage freaking vibration plate that TJ got me for Christmas, just trying to shake off the emotions, because that's another tool I have, but we'll get into those later. He texts me, he's like, babe, hang in there. I know you're having a rough morning. I love you and I'm looking so forward to our date later. An old version of me would have texted him, I really love it when you give me a kiss before you leave. It makes me feel seen. Or can you give me a kiss next time you leave? I really need that. I would have been just hostile about it. I didn't do anything. I didn't text him. I didn't do anything. I took care of me. On an energetic level, he felt my energy that I needed something more, but I took care of myself. And so I matched the energy he was going to bring forward. That is where the magic lies. You take care of your emotions and what you need first, and then they come and match it. And you're like, whoo. This is why at the beginning, they wine and dine you and they love you and they do all these things, because at the beginning, you're not caught up. You're not trying to control outcomes. Your whole heart isn't in the relationship yet. You don't have a lot to lose yet. As ambitious women, we hold on and we control more and we do more when we have more to lose later, when our heart's completely caught up in it. And that's when we try to like chokehold the relationship and we try to like change him or change how we interact or try to control everything. But the truth is, the way that they show up at the beginning can continue on the whole relationship if you stay in your power. What happens at the beginning of the relationship? You're in your power. He sees you, he wants to dote on you, he wants to love on you, he wants to date you, he wants to marry you, put a ring on it, he wants to do all these things. Why? Because you're in your power, because you're grounded, because when he met you, you did not need him. You were independent, maybe even hyper independent if you're super ambitious and all these different things. And so the shift comes from, I open my heart in softness, in feminine energy to you, but I hold myself. Here's how I see the feminine and the masculine energy. I didn't have a great mother or father. And so how I see feminine energy is a nurturing, loving mother. Not a mothering energy, but like a nurturing, loving energy. And the masculine is the protector. The guider is the one that makes sure that you're okay. You get to repair yourself and play with those two energies yourself. And I'm closer to God now than I've ever been. And so I trust that God, even in his masculine energy, is protecting me as well. Now that I'm getting into faith, I do want to say one thing. As women, we are the protectors too in energetics and in like the 3D realm for our husbands and our partners and our relationships, because we can see intuitively things that they can't see. And it's not our job to control or fix them. When TJ brings up things to me, even if I see like the outcome and I feel like this could be different, sometimes I voice it and I'm like, hey, I want to tell you what I feel and what I think. And he's so receptive to it. He's like, okay, I hear that. Usually when it has to do with people around him, that's when I tap into that and I try to like guide him in what I'm feeling. But when it has to do with like his personal growth, his business, how he manages things, how he leads himself or leads his businesses, I don't get into it. I don't control. I don't try to tap into my masculine energy. I release and let go, and I allow him to lead all that. Even if I feel like I would do that differently, what I do instead is that I pray on it. God, give my husband wisdom so that he can see this in a different way, so that he can see this in a way that protects him the best, so that he can see this in a way that is the best for him and for us. Because I am not his protector. I'm not his leader. I'm the emotional leader, but I'm not his masculine protector and leader. I don't need to tell him how to do things, when to do things. That's emasculating to a masculine man. And again, that's going to repel him. I instead pray on it, because God is going to be able to do way more than I can by nagging and controlling and trying to change something on him. And I'll tell you, this is actually a perfect example. And it's something that we just went through because TJ got back lab results and he has high blood pressure. And TJ, he's 50 years old, but he eats like a 25-year-old. He has burgers like every freaking day at lunch. Not anymore. He eats like just greasy, like fast food, all these different things. And I voiced to him like, hey, I need you around another 50 years. So we need to clean up our act, okay? I, in my feminine energy, have been nurturing, loving, making dinners since I moved in pretty much because I knew that if I didn't, we would be eating out and that just doesn't feel good to me. And I had said to him like, hey, lunches, try to make healthier choices or I could start like packing you a lunch, right? I'd make sure that he eats something for breakfast or he has like green juice. I've been making juices and all these things. But I realized that there was a part of me that felt like I wanted to control more because I had a fear. I had a fear of if he doesn't change this, like what's going to happen? Like he's going to just be sick in 20 years and not be able to be like his best self. And so I had to just quietly, calmly voice to him that that was important to me, but that I also didn't want to nag him, so that I needed it to be important to him as well. And I've been praying on it. And he's been receptive on it because he's made it really clear to me that he doesn't need something else on his plate where he feels like he's doing more that he's not doing well enough on. He has so much on his plate. And so I'm like, okay, that's fine. But please just like try not to eat like a 20-year-old because you're 50. And so there's this balance of like, okay, I'm nurturing, I'm loving, I'm caring. I'm allowing him to lead himself, but I'm also supporting him in my feminine role without nagging and without being in my masculine energy trying to control everything. If you're like, well, how do I know if I'm being controlling? Okay, so if you're being controlling in a conversation with your man, is that you're over explaining, you're over functioning, you're trying to get the outcome that you want. You're like, okay, like you're trying to guide and lead the conversation or the relationship to have certain outcomes or something that's going to make you feel safe. That's when you know you're in your controlling energy. You know you're in your feminine energy when you're able to release that control and you feel okay with uncertainty. You feel okay with saying things once and sitting back and being like, I'm not sure if he's going to do it or not. Did he hear me? I don't know. We'll find out. But when you just say things clearly and you just say, hey, I need this to change. This doesn't feel good to me. You don't over explain. You don't say, this doesn't feel good to me because X, Y, and Z. I've done that a lot, actually, especially at the beginning. I would like over explain because I'm a psychology major. I work with women and I mentor women. And so I always wanted to just teach you to have like a very big context of like why I feel the way I do. And I learned that less is more. Again, men's brains don't operate like ours. And so less is more when it comes to asserting with your masculine energy what it is that you need, and then with your feminine, relaxing and being okay with uncertainty. And I know that we can do it as ambitious women because if you're in business, whether you have your own business or you have a career that's like very high stress, high levels of anxiety, there's so much uncertainty that comes with that, right? Will I get the client? Will I close that sale? What's going to happen next month? Okay, I had a great year. Well, starting at zero next year. There's a lot of uncertainty that happens in our business, and we have to hold that. Same thing with our relationship. We have to be okay with holding levels of uncertainty and having faith and releasing that control. And also receiving. I'm going to touch on this real quick before I end the episode. Receiving is such a powerful thing as women, especially independent women, right? For a long time, I couldn't just receive from TJ without feeling like, oh, I need to do something nice for him now. Receiving is the most powerful thing you can do. TJ came yesterday. I was feeling a little like allergies or something. He was giving me some elderberry in the morning and he gave me some. And when he left, I texted him and I said, thank you. I feel so taken care of by you today. That empowers a man to do it again. It empowers him to be like, well, gosh, all I had to do was just give her a little elderberry and she's like on top of the world. She feels taken care of. But I did. I felt like, wow, he sees that I'm struggling with my allergies and he just brought me some elderberry just to prevent me getting sick. Like I felt taken care of. I was able to just receive it. I wasn't like, oh, thanks. Did you have some? Or, oh, here, I'll take it downstairs. No, thank you. Like, thank you. And then confirm that that's how you want to feel every time that he does something nice for you, that receiving feels good to you. Because if he sees and you're training him that every time he does something nice for you, you kind of tense up, you feel like you have to overgive, or you feel like you're not receiving energy, he's going to say, well, that's not something she likes then, which is not true. We all want to receive as women. We want to feel taken care of. We want to feel seen. We want to feel heard. We want to feel all these different things. But we have to put down those shields. We have to put down those armors. We have to start bringing up with the ideas of, I need to do more. I need to overgive. I need to do all these things, because that's just not healthy in a relationship. You're always going to feel depleted if that's how you operate. You don't feel unseen because you're asking for too much. You feel unseen because you're not letting yourself truly feel all the emotions that are coming up and allowing them to just be there without having to change them or control them or stop them or being frustrated that they're even there. And so in the next episode, we're going to talk about discernment and how to know what's yours to carry and what's not yours to carry, because that is a big part of this, right? Everything I just said now is easy and breezy when it's just the two of you and you're able to have all this time for yourself to like feel your emotions and just be in your energy and ground yourself. But when life happens and kids happen and careers are demanding and businesses are demanding and family members are demanding and there's drama in your life and there's all these different things, like how do you still hold that groundness, that stability within yourself when everything around both of you is pulling you in different directions? And that's what we're going to talk about next episode, is how to have discernment on what's yours to carry and what's not, and how to set boundaries in your relationship with your partner, but also in life and just friends, family, careers, business, and everything else. And so thank you, ladies. Thank you, muses, for joining me today in this very intimate setting. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you have not yet, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and leave me a review on my podcast if you're listening there. And also go listen to episode 1 and 2 of this Have It All series, because episode 1 is about worthiness and how having it all is not the problem. We all know we want it all and we can have it all, but it's the worthiness wound that really stops us. And episode 2 is all about emotional safety within yourself, and that one skill that none of us ambitious women were ever taught. And so thank you again, muses, for listening and tuning in, and I will talk to you guys next week.